So 7 months later, how has the iPhone 14 Pro screen held up? With no screen protector or a case, let's talk about it. This iPhone 14 Pro has held up really well over the last several months with normal wear and tear, putting this thing in and out of my pocket, being generally pretty careful with it. Like, I'm not throwing this thing all over the place. I carefully place it down on desks and stuff. And considering all of that, after 7 months, I'm really impressed that there's almost no visible wear and tear on this iPhone whatsoever. Like, looking very carefully, I only see like 2 small areas where there are just a little bit of scratches. It's like over here and down here. And when the screen is on, you don't see them at all. Like, you really have to look really closely. But in normal use, like when I'm scrolling around and this and that, I never notice the scratches unless I'm watching like a really dark video or something. Some of you may be wondering why I don't use a case, I don't use a screen protector. And the number one reason is aesthetics. I think this iPhone is a beautiful phone. The design is just immaculate. I love the purple color on the 14 Pro. I even tried a case when I first got this. I tried the silicone case from Apple and I just took it off like immediately because it ruined the aesthetics for me. I love the kind of pure, like minimal design language of the iPhone 14 Pro. It is getting a little stale, honestly. The design looks beautiful, but it's just kind of like the same phone over and over again every year. And it just feels like incredibly perfected and just refined down to like every detail on this phone that I'm kind of like, where can they go from here? I'm really excited to see what the next iPhone is going to be like. The display quality is amazing. The dynamic island on the top has been a really useful feature, especially when listening to music and stuff on this phone. And I just think this phone looks awesome. I love the really tiny bezels around there, and just putting a case and a screen protector on this just completely ruins the aesthetic for me, and it ruins the minimalism of this device. And the main reason I don't put screen protectors on this device, which I highly recommend if you are in a more kind of rugged lifestyle or you're throwing this thing around, I would definitely recommend putting a screen protector on this device. But for me, putting on screen protectors drives me crazy, like all the bubbles, all the dust that gets in there. I get so nervous and anxious, I just don't even mess with it. I also use Apple Care Plus, which at this point means I could basically drop this and crack the entire front or back and get the screens replaced for like $29 or something. Not a huge deal, and you do pay extra for Apple Care Plus, but I do think it's worth it for this phone, especially for something that you're holding in your hand all the time. You're dropping it. Like, the times I've actually dropped my phones the most, it's usually when I'm wearing a shirt with a pocket up here. I put the phone in the pocket, and I've just learned to not do this anymore. I'll bend over to pick something up, it'll fall out of the pocket, and then sure enough, I'll have an extra crack or scratch or something on my phone. But this iPhone 14 Pro, I don't know what kind of alien technology they're using for the screens these days, but whatever Apple is doing, just please keep doing that. Because especially with Apple Care Plus and how robust and well built this thing is, the iPhone 14 Pro, it seems like you'd really have to like throw it onto concrete or have like a bunch of keys just scratching on this or run it over a car. I don't know what you'd have to do to crack this phone, but for me, 7 months later, it looks almost brand new. And if you look closely at other areas of the phone, like the camera bump still looks really good. And the metal areas of this phone on the sides also look really good. Like, there's not a whole lot of visible scratches or anything on those either. You do see some fingerprints and stuff because they are fingerprint magnets on the edges, but you also don't see almost any scratching on the sides, which is kind of incredible as well. The buttons on the sides still work perfectly. The camera still works perfectly. The camera bumps do collect a little bit of dust, but it's easy to just give it a wipe and then it looks brand new again. And as far as I can see, there's no scratching on the camera bumps whatsoever. So if you're out there wondering, do you need a case or a screen protector or both for the iPhone 14 Pro? I don't think you need either of those things on the 14 Pro at all. Even with a few drops and stuff and putting this in my pocket that probably had a little sand and lint and stuff, I don't think you need a case or a screen protector for the 14 Pro, unless you're doing more rugged things, like if you're out hiking with this all the time, if you're like rock climbing with this or jumping out of planes or something, or you want a more tactile kind of feel for the iPhone, then maybe I would suggest getting a case or a screen protector or both, because then you don't have to worry about it. You can kind of throw it around, be a little more rugged with it. Adding a case will also give you more grip for your iPhone, obviously, because the iPhone is a little bit slippery. It does have have that kind of brushed glass feel on the back, which adds a little bit of traction when you're holding it, but it can slide out of your hand like super easily. But honestly, I love the caseless and screen protectorless phone. I think it looks beautiful, but let me know what your experience has been with the iPhone 14 Pro. Do you use a case? Do you use a screen protector? Or do you prefer a naked phone like me? Because I think this is absolutely gorgeous. And if you watched all the way to the end of this video, leave a pizza emoji down below in the comments, and that lets me know that you're officially here to win it with the hashtag House of Aqua. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you in the next one.